people, awesome students like yourselves, are asking how in the world do we take these little awesome, super radical microbits and do something really crazy, like get them to communicate over radio signals, right? So this is what we wanted to be able to do. We want to be able to have this microbit or this microbit communicate with one another, where if I push a button, the other one will send a signal and they will go back and forth, right? So how do we make this happen where we send these signals back and forth? Let's find out. For this activity, you are going to need the following: at least 2 microbits. You're going to need your USB cable to plug them in, do some code, and then obviously the make code programming guide so we can get these bad boys to do what we want. I'm going to put a little bonus thing in at the end, and so this is not required by any means, but if you want, if you have 2 extra alligator clips and a pair of headphones, I'll also show you how to add a little sound so you can actually hear communication back and forth as well. So I'm assuming by now you've got the battery pack plugged into the microbit. You know how to plug it into the USB of the computer. So without further ado, let's jump into the make code and take a look at how this coding works. All right, girls and boys, so let's take a look at how we can make this work. And so what I have, what you're looking at here is you're looking at obviously the make code. And this is just a brand new program here, so we don't need this forever block. So I'm just going to drag this over here and delete it. And what we're going to do, the first thing that we need to do is we need to set our radio group. The cool thing about the microbit is we can actually have up to 255 different radio groups. This part's really important. This is probably the part that most people forget. And so we can make this any number we want from 0 to 255. I'm just going to keep it 1 for the sake of the video. If you're doing all the coding on one computer, this makes it really easy. You can just download the same code to all the different microbits. If you're programming among 2 or 3 different devices, then you need to make sure that you're all communicating verbally. By you, I mean you, the students, making sure that you're all putting your code to the same radio group. And if you don't do that, then they're not going to be able to communicate. It's also important to take note that in your classroom, if you've got 25 to 30 kids, and a variety of you are doing this, and you all pick the same radio group, you will override one another. So it's going to be also important that you're not only communicating with the group of kids that you're working with, but also the bigger context of your classroom. And maybe on chart paper, on your whiteboard, make a note of saying, Aaron, Ava, and Addie are group 1, Amanda, Aiden, and Frankie are group 2, just so you don't have any of that interference. So this is the first thing we're going to do. On this start, we're going to go to radio set group number 1. And I'm just going to keep this really simple. Kind of think of it like a Marco Polo type activity, but we're just going to use Roz and Brightbill for the sake of this. And the goal here is just for you to see how it works. And I really look forward to seeing what you do with it to make your own creations come alive. All right, so enough of that. We're going to head over here to input. And we're going to drag over the on A button pressed. And we're then going to bring over another one. And we're going to switch this to the beat button pressed. And then we're going to drop over here to this radio signal. And what we're going to do is we're going to send a string. There are a variety of things that we can do, numbers and values and strings. We're just going to do the string. What the string allows us to do is actually send a word or phrase. And so I'm just going to put in Roz for this one. And I'm going to do the same thing again. We're going to do a send or radio send string. And let's do Brightbill. So kind of like Marco Polo, but Roz. Brightbill. And once we get rocking and rolling from there, so now what this means is when we press the A button, it's going to send a signal of Roz. And if we hit the B button, it's going to send the string Brightbill. And it's going to send that to all the microbits that are in this group. Okay, now we have to be able to receive it and do something with it. So just because we're sending it out doesn't mean anything. Think of it like baseball. If I'm playing catch with my partner and I throw the baseball and they don't have a glove to receive it or they're not paying attention, the ball's just going to fly right over their head and it's just going to roll away. So we have to be able to have a way to receive this. We have to let the microbits know, like, hey, get your glove up, man. They got stuff coming at you. So we're going to drop over here to this radio again. And we're going to pick not this on radio received because we're not doing a number. Remember, we did a string, so we're not doing name or value, but we did a string. So we're going to drag this over here. And we're just going to have it, for this sake, we're just going to show the string. Okay, so we're going to go over here, this basic, we're going to click this show string, and then we don't want it to say hello. We want it to say Rouse or Brightbill just to make sure that our communication is working. So I'm going to drag over here to variables, and I'm just going to click this receive string. And so what this is going to do is oops, I didn't click it in there very well, did I? This is actually going to show the received string. So I hit A on the one device, it sends it to all the others that are in group one, and it's going to show whatever string it is that I put in there. Really, really simple. And so we can clean this up here. Let me just get this a little more organized. There's A, and there's B, and then there's on our start, and then this is our reception. Okay, so I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call this ROS demo. I'm going to save it. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and download it. So I'm going to go through my features. You have your way depending on how it shows up for you. I am going to go through and I'm going to click these in here real quick. You're not actually seeing this, but I'm going to go ahead and clip these in. You should know how to do this by now. And I'm going to download the file. My microbit, as you know, is going to blink yellow. Let me know that it's importing the code. And so I'm going to go ahead and load this up here on both of my microbits. I could do this with several microbits, so I don't have to do it with just two. I could have 5 in this group. They're all going to get the signal. So you can check out how I created a tic-tac-toe board where I've got 16 microbits all communicating with one another. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this installed here. And then once I do that, we're going to test it. All right, so let's go ahead and I will do this and then I'll cut back and we'll see if it works.
Guys, so here we are. I've got my 2 microbits right here. Okay, I've downloaded them. They flashed your yellow. We're ready to rock and roll. So let's see what happens if I push, let's see, the A button on this one right here. This guy should say ROS. So let's find out. There we go. And then if I hit the B button over here, we should have Brightbill. And so they're going to go back and forth. They can communicate because they're both in group one. I can hit A on this guy here too. And after it said Brightbill takes a little bit longer, doesn't it? It'll send that signal and away we go. And so now we have two-way communication back and forth. We're able to send 2 strings, A and B. I could have had one if I pushed A and B together. And so this kind of shows you how it works. So let's do this. I had shared with you the option. If I have an alligator clip and I clip one here into the ground of the microbit, the GND, and I clip another one here to just port 0 there, okay? This is going to create my signal. Now check this out. This is the bonus. You don't have to do this. I just want to show you the possibilities that come with this microbit because it's so stinking cool. It's just outrageously amazing. All right, so my headphones are tangled. I have this tip here. Okay, so what I want to do is the wire that is ground, you can see that I put red for the ground. If I go and clip, check this out, and I clip to the base of the headphone, the base of the headphone jack is your ground wire. So there's actually several signals that are taking place in a headphone jack. All right. And then if I take the white one, the one that was plugged into 0, and I add this to the tip, this actually, the tip of your headphone jack represents the right headphone of what things that you're listening to. Here we go, so useless trivia for you. So if I do this, I can actually put my headphones in, and I can have my microbits make noise and communicate signals back and forth. So let's jump back into the code and check this out. And if you don't have headphones, it's okay. It's still awesome to learn. And you can go through and make this what you want. So let me show you the code. We'll show you how this works, and then you can be on your merry way.
All right, so if I want to add sound, it's super easy. Check this out. We can have a variety of different things going on here. And so just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to click this play tone. And I could do a couple of things. I could put it down here, So what it's going to do is it's going to display the string, so it would show Roz or Bright Bill, and then it's going to play a tone. So check this out. I think this here should do it for you. There, so you can hear it, and you can see here then that it's got the headphone jack plugged in. This is telling us of how we need to have it plugged in, so you can see the wiring once we added that music note, which we didn't have that before. And so I could do a couple other things. I could have moved this up here, so it's not when I receive it, but when I send a signal, it could play. So if I hit A, it's going to play it right away, and then the communication is going that way. So if I went this route, the person sending the signal would hear the noise. If I put it down here, the person receiving the signal would hear the noise. And so we could do some different things with that. I could do a melody instead. I could drag this over here to the garbage. So we could try this. So you can have some fun with that and you can add some noise. I could do different things too. I could show an icon. I could have it, if we didn't want to do noise, I could have it show the giraffe. So I could send a signal. It's going to say Roz, and then it's going to show a giraffe. And then if I didn't want that to be on forever and ever and ever, I could add some different things in here. Okay, so then I could pause. I could make this 5 seconds, and then I could just clear it. I could have it be back to blank again. So now it'll say Roz, giraffe, 5 seconds, and then it should turn it off. Boom, there you go. So okay guys, so I've given you a ton of things to think about. You go now, you be awesome, you make something happen, and then more importantly, you jump on Flipgrid and you share what you've created, because I really want to see your awesomeness shine. So I look forward to it. Hope you found this helpful, and let me know what other questions you have, and until next time, you guys stay awesome.